party people. If you were just joining us, this is the Tiger's Eye set that I was making on today's morning coffee. What day is it today? April 23rd? Yeah, Tuesday, April 23rd. So if you want to see the beginning of how we started this, project here, this is going to be a whole set, earrings, necklace, and bracelet. You can swing over to the playlist, the live morning coffee playlist, and it will be under this day, which is April 23rd, if you want to see the beginning. But as of right now, I'm just going to finish up what we've started here. And I know that for some of you, that's pretty easy to do. You can kind of like, you know, just kind of come in on a project and be like, oh, I get how we got to this point. So here we go. I gotta finish up my side of the necklace here. If you are new to this playlist, this is just me finishing up the project. Some people like to see the entire process, and a lot of times I cannot get the entire process done in 1 hour on the live morning coffee. So here we are, doing it. We just recently started this playlist this year, so it's been going pretty good, I think. Also, as a warning, Thunderhorse Descendant is a working studio, so if you hear some commotion going on, that's just work happening. No worries. We also have cats. They're crazy today. If you did catch the morning coffee, they've been crazy all morning. Alright, so I'm working on this Tiger's Eye set, and I'm just trying to get my tail tucked in here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And I'm just adding the beads to this chain. Oh yeah, I gotta put a spacer. And we're kind of just finishing up this little necklace. So this is one of my favorite things to do, is to just wire wrap right into the chain pieces. Sometimes I make them asymmetrical, sometimes they're symmetrical. This one happens to be symmetrical, which is not always the case with me, but I thought that would be cute. We also were using the memory wire today. The grand memory wire from Bead, and utilizing these Tiger's Eye that we sold on the sale on Monday. I think we had some left of the Tiger's Eye. Shannon will probably post them up either today or tomorrow. So that's where we are at with it. Oh, here we are. So this is on memory wire, if you missed that. So now I have to go 1, 2, 3. So this is actually here. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to remove this link. And this is where I'll put in my next bead. So I am using 22 gauge wire here to wrap these in. And I'm making my wraps a little bit bigger here on the top, just because I have a little bit of a bigger link chain. Not too much more, but just loop that on there like that. I get a hold of it with my chain nose and I hold both sides of the loop. This helps me to stabilize it. That's just a thing that I've always done. And then I just wrap it. I'm going around 3 times. can go around as many times as you want, really. I always go around about 3 times. Some people do more, and it gives it more of a metal look. Completely up to you. No rules beading. You know how it is. We got a spacer and a bead. So these are 8s. What I'm using the tiger's eye. Are these 8s or are they 6s? I think they're 6s, honestly. Might have to measure it. But as we were discussing this morning, you could use any size really. You could use 6s, 8s, 10s, whatever you want to do. Completely up to you. Tuck this little tail in. And wrap. And tuck. And wrap. That's how we do, you know. There we go. Alrighty. So now here we are. Oh, we cannot see the whole thing. We actually, I have this extender on the wrong side. I mean, there's really no right or wrong side, but I generally put my clasp on this side. So I'm just going to switch that out for this large lobster. Now this came in our Unseen and Unbothered pack that Shannon put together for us this morning. That's how this whole thing got started. So there's our lobster, and then I'm going to go ahead and use one of these links that I've taken off just to attach into the extender chain here. And just close him back up. Make sure it's not pokey. Alrighty, so our necklace is complete, and you could use the extender chain. If you wanted a little less, you could even work on this larger portion. Completely up to you. So I will say that this is one of the reasons that I do like to use these bars down here as part with the focal, because they will move, right? So if you say you want a little shorter and you want to go here, right, you can maneuver this, and this part will still lay in the front, and this will be a little bit, it will be at your back of your neck, but it'll be a little to the side, but it won't be like super noticeable. So there we go. There is the necklace completed. I think it's super cute. We are using these pendants too from Thunderhorse, so those are listed online. We got a few of those left. I know we have more of the red jasper ones. So there's the necklace. We're gonna move on to finishing up the earring before we start on the bracelet. So here's the earring. So I did this earring with the memory wire, and here's what I have thus far for it. So I'm gonna need, what, 2 beads here? 2 beads for that. And this part is ready to go. So I am just gonna wire wrap up this one. on a ball head pin. And then I'm just going to attach this guy onto here. So this is one portion. Have to do a little trim in here. There we go. Okay. And so I am using the large memory wire from Beading for this. If you missed that, the grand memory wire. So this is this one here, and then we'll do the other one. So the other one is a little bit different, and I don't know if this is going to be long enough for it. We'll see if it is. We'll try to give it a whirl here. I don't know. I don't think it is. I think we're going to need to get a little smidge of wire here. I don't want to end up with not enough wire. Oh, I've got a mess now. Hey, how did you turn into a mess in just like 5 seconds? What's going on? All right, well, anyway, so I'm just going to cut off a little smidge. Just going to do half a loop here. Slinkies are us. All right, so I got this little smidge. So I got one side of this done. So this is the side I'm doing right now. And this is the grand memory wire. So like I said in the morning coffee video, this is this is a really thick wire that is supposed to hold its shape. So it is a little bit harder to work with because it is a thicker gauge. So FYI on that. Let me just start with the loop down here. Now I am using just my regular round nose. If you have a memory wire plier, you can go ahead and use that. So I'm just gonna make a simple loop. So I'm just gonna run my finger over this. I'm gonna make sure there's no wire sticking out, and I'm gonna roll away from myself. Just like you're doing a regular simple loop, right? So you're gonna go until you can't go anymore, and then you're going to release pressure, come back to the top. And I kind of try to go a little bit past the wire because this memory wire, once you get it to touch itself, then you can kind of just press it in with your chain nose, right? And you might have to straighten it up a little bit because it is meant to hold its shape, so it is going to hold the same shape that you give it. So there we go. So then I'm going to put on my bead and my tube. Okay. So now how I measure this, there's really no rhyme or reason to it. How I measure it is I hold this comfortably in my hand, pushing the beads down, and then I cut right above my finger. How you measure is going to be, you know, up to you. Get that off of there. So then I'm going to come around this side, and I'm going to do the same thing. I want to go away from myself. So when I'm saying away from myself, it's how this bends, right? So I want to roll it the other direction. So I'm going to grab a hold right here, and I'm going to start with the loop, and I'm going to go a little bit past. And you can stand this up, you know, as you normally would, so it's not a sad lollipop. And then you kind of just got to maneuver that guy in. Okay, you want to be touching or close enough so that your tube does not slide past the loop. And there we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little smidge of this 22 gauge. And I'm going to create the top portion, which is basically just a wire wrap. So I'm going to come in here, make this loop a little bit bigger than normal by backing up on the taper of my round nose. Open that up. Now when you go to put these on, you want them to be opposite, right? Okay, this one's sliding. See how this one slid past? I gotta tighten it up a little more. So I'm just gonna give her a little bit. Oop. I'm gonna not hurt myself. I have to do it this way. Okay. It's spinning on me. Get over there, you. There we go. Gonna take a little bit of maneuvering here. And there we go. Oh. Okay, I think I got it. So with these two, I'm going to want to make sure that they're hanging opposite each other so that they, when they're hanging, they give this effect of being twisted. So basically, you don't want them to be hanging this way where they're both wires are facing the same. You want one opposite. Okay, so like that. So I'm going to put on this one first. And then I'm going to put this one on. And you can see how they're hanging opposite. Right? So if it was not hanging opposite, it would look like this. So when you hung them together, both of the curves would be going the same way, and that is not what you want. So you're going to take this one off and you're going to flip it over, put him back on there, and now he's opposite. All right, he's busy. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to grab a hold of this loop right here with my chain nose, and I'm just going to wrap this around. I'm going to wrap around 3 times. Swoop. Give it a little trim up. Okay. And I'm gonna go spacer, metal bead, spacer. Finish that off. The tail in, and I'm going to put on this stainless steel hook. And close that up. The stainless steel hook is kind of the same situation where the metal is really stiff, so just want to make sure it's closed up all the way and touching. And then here are our earrings. So I'm just looking to see if we got, trying to get them even here. Trying to see if we got about the same loops. Looks like we do. And there we go. So there's the earrings for this guy. Right, for the necklace. Looking pretty good. But wait, ShamWow. There's more. But wait, there's more. We're gonna do a bracelet. Okay, so for the bracelet, I'm just gonna use all of my extra beads that I have around here that we didn't use in the earrings and the whatever. And so this has all been one strand of the tiger's eye. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tubes. So we sell our tubes in packs of 10. And so here's what we got. So we can kind of gauge, gonna get a little more silver out here, a little more spacers. We can kind of gauge where we want to be at with the bracelet based on how much beads we have left. So I am going to be adding some of these guys. But I don't think that I'm going to have enough beads to do like a super large, you know, like wire wrapped bracelet. But I might if I put in some of these spacers. So, again, I'm going to grab up my grand memory wire. And just for now, I'm going to start here. This is how I count out my memory wire. I start at the end, and I consider this, wherever it is, to be 1. Okay, so it's technically 1.5, but I count it as 1. 1, go again 2, go again 3, and then evening out with the cut from the other, I'm going to cut that. And there we go. That's how I measure my wire for a bracelet. Now, there's a lot of different ways to do memory wire bracelets, but we're just going to start out with the easiest, simplest way. I'm going to get this wire and I'm going to create a loop on the end as we did with the earrings and with the necklace, going away from myself. Until it touches. I try to, like I said, go a little bit past. You can see there, I went a little bit past the wire. I come in with my other plier. I'm just gonna squish it and pull it out a little bit until it's completely wrapped up on itself, like that. Okay? There might be a little bit of a smidge here. You just want to flatten it out. And then we can just go ahead and start putting on our beads. So you're going to come to the other side. And I like to start with a silver bead or a metal bead. I'm going to just zoom in. I like to start with a metal bead on the end just for safety precautions. You know, if you start with a crystal or something, there's going to be a lot of pressure on that bead. So I always like to start with a metal. So I'm just going to start my my pattern. So I'm just winging this at this particular point in time. So I got started with a spacer, and I have put 2 spacers on there. So now to match the necklace, I'm going to do kind of the same little spacey thing that I had been doing there, where it's a star spacer and then a metal bead and a star spacer. So that's on our earrings and it's on our necklace. And at that point, I'm going to go ahead and add another bead. And I think maybe I'll add 5 beads. 2, 3. 4, 5. Okay, and then I'm gonna do this spacer, metal bead, spacer, and then I'm going to add one of the tubes. Okay, there's a tube. And this is what this looks like. And I'm just continuing on with my pattern. Alright, so I was able to use up all the rest of my beads on here. I had 2 beads left, but they didn't fit into my pattern. I mean, I could have shoved them in there somewhere, but that's fine. So now I'm just going to make sure all of my beads are pushed down towards the bottom here. Again, just holding it comfortably. And going to go ahead and cut above my finger. So I ended up having like a loop left. Okay, that's fine. We'll use that on another project. And I'm just going to go ahead and finish this off the same way that we started it by rolling it away from myself. Okay. And get a hold of the end here. And I'm just going to roll away from me all the way around. And then I'm going to let it kind of relax a little bit and get into place. And if there's a little bit of slack, that's fine, because these do have to be able to move around. You don't want them super tight when you finish it off. You should give a little bit of space for them to kind of relax after you've been pushing them down to get that wire in there. So that's what we're doing there. And just make sure this guy is on there. And so there's our bracelet. So then I'm wearing this. Let me see if I can zoom out. Take these ones off. Now we could go ahead and we could put this put those little guys on the ends here. So you're just gonna wrap around like so. Okay. And there you go. Because this is the grand wire, it's a little more, got a little more heft to the wire, right? And it's also larger. So for people who like to wear a loose bracelet, or maybe people who have a larger wrist, this works out really well for them. So memory wire is adjustable anyways. Let me just zoom in a little bit more. But when this is at rest, this will give you, let's just say, a 7.5 to be average, right? So it's like 7.5, 7.25 on just on average. But it is adjustable. Now what we can do is we could take these 2 little guys and we can just wire wrap them up as charms, and then we will have used our entire bead strand. I am gonna put a little metal, you know me, I can't help myself. Put a little metal. Just put a little metal on it, it'll be fine. Okay, so I'm just gonna wrap this up. Come down here to this loop, put that on there. cute. Do the other one. Same thing over here. And there we go. Nice. So, here's what it looks like. Put on backwards, but you know. I always like to pretend I'm left-handed for some reason. So there you go with the little droppies. Now it doesn't matter which way you spin, you got a droppy on each side. Super cute, really showcasing the beads. I don't generally like my bracelets this loose, so I usually use the average size, but this does work out really well for a lot of people, and I've had a lot of requests for it. So let's take a look at the whole works, right? All together now. All together now. So we have our bracelet. We have our earrings. Super cute. And this is twisted. And we have our little necklace with the extender. And there she is. Is it all in the frame? Pretty good out of 10. So there it is. This moves, which is great. Got our little earrings, super cute. Look like they're twisted. And there you go. One strand of tiger's eye, and a pendant from Shannon. Shannon thought she was gonna mess with us today. So yeah, super cute. I really like the way that it turned out, and I will probably be putting this online or in the show inventory, what have you. So there we go. Well, I hope you guys are enjoying these videos and this playlist. If you are, please make sure to like, leave a comment. Feel free to join us over on our Facebook group. We have a great group over there of artists. And you feel free to post your items in the group today under hashtag what's on my mat today. And I hope you guys have a lovely, spectacular, amazing, smashing beading day. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.